The Galactic Council's emergency session had drawn representatives from every major species in the known galaxy. Towering Vorthak warriors, their chitinous armor gleaming under the artificial lights, stood beside the ethereal Zanari with their translucent skin and 4 arms. The reptilian Keth delegation hissed quietly among themselves, while the insectoid Hive Queen's drones buzzed in perfect synchronization. At the center of it all sat the humans. General Marcus Kane, scarred from countless battles across 3-star systems, represented the Terran military coalition. His presence alone had caused several delegations to shift uncomfortably in their seats. Beside him, Admiral Sarah Chen commanded respect through her tactical brilliance that had ended the Outer Rim conflicts. Dr. Elena Vasquez, the xenobiologist who had helped broker peace with the silicon-based Christarchs, rounded out what most considered humanity's most formidable diplomatic team. But the alien's attention kept drifting to the 4th human. She was unremarkable by galactic standards, small, even by human measurements, with graying hair pulled back, in a simple ponytail and wearing nothing more intimidating than a worn blazer over practical clothing. Dr. Sarah Martinez, according to her identification badge, a title that meant nothing to most of the assembled delegates. Ambassador Zektar of the Vorthak Empire, whose people had conquered 17 worlds through sheer military might, leaned toward his aide. What is her specialty? Weapons development? Military strategy? The aide consulted his datapad nervously. According to our intelligence, she's a pediatric psychologist, sir. She treats traumatized children. Zektar's mandibles clicked in confusion. Why would the humans bring a child healer to such a critical gathering? The crisis at hand was unprecedented. A new species called the Devourers had emerged from the galactic rim, consuming entire worlds not just for resources, but seemingly for sport. Traditional warfare had failed. The Vorthak's legendary battle fleets had been decimated. The Zanari's advanced technology proved useless. Even the Hive Queen's billion-strong swarms had been systematically eliminated. The situation is clear, announced Chancellor Thex of the Galactic Council, his blue skin flickering with bioluminescent stress patterns. Every military solution has failed. We must consider surrender protocols. A collective shudder ran through the assembly. The proud warrior races had never faced such absolute defeat. That's when Dr. Martinez spoke for the first time. May I see the communications we've intercepted from them? Her voice was soft, almost gentle. Several delegates seemed surprised she had spoken at all. Doctor, General Kane whispered, perhaps we should let the military analysts— Please, she said, not rudely but with quiet insistence. The recordings. Chancellor Thex, confused but curious, activated the holographic display. The harsh guttural sounds of the Devourer communications filled the chamber. Most delegates recoiled from the alien savagery in those transmissions. Dr. Martinez listened intently, her head tilted slightly. After several minutes, she held up a hand. Stop there. Play that section again. Doctor, our best linguists have analyzed— Again, please. She closed her eyes, listening to sounds that had terrified military commanders across the galaxy. When the playback ended, she opened them. They're children! The chamber erupted. Delegates shouted in outrage, confusion, and disbelief. General Kane started to object, but Dr. Martinez continued speaking in that same calm voice. Not literally children, but the psychological patterns are identical. Listen to the vocal stress markers, the repetitive aggressive displays, the way they systematically destroy rather than efficiently consume. She stood slowly, her small frame somehow commanding the attention of beings who could crush her without effort. I've worked with severely traumatized children for 30 years. Children who've been abandoned, abused, who strike out at the world because they're terrified and don't know how else to survive. The Devourer's behavioral patterns match exactly what I see in my most damaged patients. Ambassador Kryn of the Zanari, whose people prided themselves on logic, spoke carefully. Doctor, these beings have destroyed civilizations. Surely you're not suggesting we treat them as patients. I'm suggesting we try to understand what traumatized them. Dr. Martinez walked to the holographic display, her movement causing several Vorthak warriors to tense instinctively. But she simply touched the controls, bringing up stellar cartography. Look at where they came from. The galactic rim, the dead zone where 3 civilizations collapsed simultaneously 8,000 years ago. We always assumed those worlds were uninhabitable, but what if survivors were left behind? What if an entire species spent millennia believing they were the last living beings in the universe? The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Children who believe they're alone will do anything for attention, she continued. Even negative attention. They'll break things, hurt others, because any reaction proves they exist. And when they finally encounter other living beings after 8,000 years of isolation, they wouldn't know how to communicate except through violence. Admiral Chen finished quietly. Dr. Martinez nodded. They're not conquerors. They're lost children having the largest tantrum in galactic history. Chancellor Thex's bioluminescence flickered rapidly. Even if this is true, Doctor, how does it help us? They're still destroying everything in their path. For the first time since arriving, Dr. Martinez smiled. It was the gentle smile she used with her most frightened patients. We do what you do with any scared child acting out. We don't fight back. That just confirms their worst fears. Instead, we sit down, we listen, and we help them understand they're not alone anymore. The greatest military minds in the galaxy stared at her in stunned silence. You want us to offer them therapy? General Kane asked incredulously. I want us to offer them hope, she replied simply. 3 months later, Dr. Sarah Martinez became the first human to receive the Galactic Peace Prize. The Devourers, it turned out, had been desperately trying to find other living beings for millennia. Their attacks were crude attempts at first contact by a species that had forgotten how to communicate peacefully. The greatest threat in the room that day hadn't been a warrior at all. It had been a small woman with graying hair who understood that sometimes the most dangerous beings in the universe just needed someone to listen.